It's Monday, the start of a new week. I'm the Prez. You're watching First Pitch, found at Wager Talk TV, our YouTube channel, a whole bunch of podcasts, and like always at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. The great Dave Cokin, my co-host every day, joining us. Dave, how are you, my friend?
Very good. Had a fun weekend. The baseball results were positive and ready to get some more tonight.
Matthew Joseph, mid-major Matt, found at sportsmemo.com. Nice to have you. What's going on with you, my friend?
I don't know if I was sweating more yesterday from the heat or from the first five under that I barely hit in the Rays-White Sox game last night.
Well, you hit it, right?
But after the second inning, when the 4.5 runs were there, I had to sweat a lot.
Well, dude, welcome to sports betting. All we do is bloody well sweat. Nothing's easy in this game.
You could bet 5 innings, 3 innings, 1 inning. There's a sweat no matter what.
Exactly. Guys, we're taking apart every game on the board. Before that, let's just talk some business. I'm on a massive baseball run. I don't want to say what I'm on because, well, I've only lost 2 games in the last 2 weeks, and both of them were after I bragged about my streak. So I'm not going to discuss my run anymore. I just want to let everybody know I'm on a massive baseball run right now. You can find all my plays at wagertalk.com, and it's Monday, which means it's $9 Monday. Every play up at WagerTalk is $9. Marco D'Angelo, 15-3 in his last 18 baseball games. He's got a play today. And I hope you guys got down on Kevin Dolan. He called Manny Pacquiao. It was a hell of a fight. He won that one. So I was talking about it a lot. I hope you guys played it. And that's really about it. Dave, did you watch the fight?
I bet Pacquiao by decision, so it was plus 130. So I was pleased with the result. He won. It was close. It was a good fight.
Yeah, Matt, did you watch that stuff?
I haven't watched boxing in years, unfortunately.
The last time you watched boxing, what, James Toney versus Larry Holmes?
Something Mike Tyson-esque, probably.
James Toney was, I knew James when he was middleweight, actually. And he ate his way out of that division. Good guy, by the way. He was funny as hell.
Yeah, I remember when I was at the Planet Hollywood, I think Ken Norton Sr. was signing autographs at a table. It was a lonely sight, man. I mean, I don't think anyone came for an autograph in hours.
That would not happen with Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes, the year he went into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, his speech was one of the funniest speeches I have ever heard in my life. Larry Holmes, he was amazing. He's one of the great fighters of all time.
Yeah, well, he's the most underrated.
So it kind of, he kind of got, by comparison, how do you compare anything to Ali? But Larry Holmes was fabulous.
Yeah, and I always argued for Larry Holmes, and the problem ultimately was it wasn't Larry Holmes and his greatness. It was that he beat the shit out of everybody so easily that nobody looked like George Foreman or Frazier to Ali. He just didn't have anyone really to compete with. And
what hurt him in terms of his popularity was the fact that he really beat the daylights out of Ali when Ali should not have been in the ring anymore. And Holmes, the guy was crying after the fight. He felt so bad about it. And a lot of fans held it against him, and that really wasn't fair.
I remember that fight. Ali could not move. He was overweight. He just stood there, couldn't move.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into some baseball, boys. Colorado against Washington. Colorado has lost, my God, 6 of their last 7 games. They just beat the Yankees 8-4. Washington has been zigzagging. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Still a really hot team. You got Lambert versus Feed on the mound tonight.
Eric Fetty. You got to get that guy's name right.
Yeah, I don't need to actually, Dave. I'm pretty comfortable.
It sounds. I disagree. I think it sounds unprofessional when you get names wrong.
Dave, my real last name, nobody has ever gotten right in my entire life. So I am actually entitled to get everybody's name wrong.
All right. Well, anyway, his name's Eric Fetty. He went to UNLV and has come back from Tommy John surgery to become a fringe major league starter.
Well, we saw Mariana come back from Tommy John, so maybe he could become the greatest closer of all time. Highly unlikely.
I would say.
Line opened at -165. It's been bet down to -147. That's the shortest line. You can find it at 5 dimes. The over and under is 10.5. Dave, I go to you first on every single game today, and then to Matt. What are you doing in this one?
It's priced about right. I don't want to lay a huge price with Fetty, although he's been, we'll put him in the average category as far as the game scores are concerned. The problem for Lambert is when he makes a mistake, his home run to fly ball rate is 25%, and that is, or 24.3 to be exact. That's not going to get it done. And the Rockies, as you said, have been playing horrible baseball. They managed to get one yesterday against the Yankees, but they're not a go-with team right now, so can't really make a good case for the dog. However, remember the Redskins, the Nationals played the Sunday night game and now had to travel back to Washington to play this evening, and that's not a positive angle. So to me, it's a good stay away.
Matt, what do you like in this game?
I agree with him. I traveling off Sunday Night Baseball, but Lambert just doesn't, as Dave said, when he makes mistakes, he makes bad ones. The thing is, this game may not even be played tonight. They're talking about rain. They're talking about flooding. I mean, I think there's a chance that we may not see this game tonight and then potentially get a future doubleheader anyway.
He's Matthew Joseph, mid-major Matt, they call him. Dave Cokin with us. I'm the Prez. You're watching First Pitch. St. Louis playing Pittsburgh tonight. St. Louis won 4 of their last 5 games, won 7 of their last 9. And Pittsburgh just is out of sorts right now. They beat Philadelphia 2 games ago. But other than that, this team has lost 7 of their last 9 games. St. Louis, a very small favorite at -106. The over and under is 9.5 in this game. Williams versus Ponce de Leon, who's actually having, he's pitching well of late. Dave, where are you going here?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the regression to kick in on Ponce de Leon because this stuff is really ordinary. And I don't think he's a big league starting pitcher, but you can't argue with the results right now. So he falls into that category of wait for the regression to start and then go against him. The only problem with that theory is that the Cardinals are kind of just slipping him in as a spot starter. So as soon as he goes bad, he might end up back in the bullpen. Trevor Williams has not been good at all for the Pirates. His last 4 starts are negative. His game scores for the season are negative. The only good thing is the Pirates have won 4 of his last 5 home starts, which has been mostly a case of them providing with good offense. I don't really have much in this game other than what I said. I don't want Ponce de Leon, but I'm not going to go against him until the regression starts to show.
Matt, I like the over in this game. It's 9.5. I think it's short. I think we're going to see a lot of hitting in this game, and I agree with Dave. I think we're going to see Ponce de Leon get slapped around the park. Where are you going?
Well, they just faced each other last week. He gave up 8 hits and 4 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings against the Pirates at home. So you would think maybe that carries over to the road. But Pittsburgh's only scored 22 runs their last 8 games. Their offense is just not doing well right now. The one thing also for Pittsburgh's bullpen, I don't want to butcher the name because Dave's going to yell at me, but the Keela kid who came over from Texas, he's supposed to get activated before the game tonight. They said his fastball velocity looks good. He's a nice setup man for Vasquez. So Pittsburgh's bullpen, if they let Williams go 5, maybe it sets up nicely. So that's kind of a worry when it comes to the over.
Do you have any opinion, though? Are you going under? Are you going dog favorite?
I don't know. I mean, the Cardinals are playing good baseball. Maybe you lean to the road team a little bit, but I'm not laying that price. Maybe they become an underdog tonight, and maybe you get them at plus. I don't know.
Cincinnati playing Milwaukee tonight. 73% of the tickets have been written on Milwaukee. Cincinnati is just falling apart. I mean, look, they haven't had a great season at all, but they did show some life, and that life is now gone. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Milwaukee has won 5 of their last 6 games. They're holding the first wild card spot by 1 game. It's a dogfight, and they're also really looking good for their division. 2.5 games, 2 games back on the Cubbies. We've got Milwaukee at minus 112 against Sonny Gray at 9 is the over and under. Dave, I like Anderson. I like Milwaukee here. I think I don't want to overthink this game. You have a better team, a better offense, a better pitching staff at home, and it's a super short number. I don't see any reason why not to take it.
I guess I lean Brewers, but there's a couple of things I don't like. What I do like on them is Chase Anderson, I think, probably pitched his best game of the season last time out. I mean, he was really good. His command was excellent, and he was giving up soft contact, just a bunch of pop-ups. I was very impressed by Anderson in his last start. He's not going to go deep. He's a 6th-inning guy, but that's all they're looking for. And Sonny Gray is what worries me. Gray's pitching really good ball for the Reds, and he can limit any lineup when he's right. And he's off 4 straight above-average starts. His game scores for the year are quite good, including on the road. The other thing here is that this line up, and it hasn't. It's 113, and it's still sitting about the same. And the tickets are more on the Milwaukee side. So I was looking for a little bump in the line, maybe to 120, but it hasn't happened. Actually, it went to 120 last night and then came back down this morning. So the market looks like the sharper market might be on Cincinnati here for what that's worth. As of now, I don't have a play on the game. Kind of lean Anderson, but not enough to play it.
Mid-major Matt, talk to me.
This is the 4th time that Gray has faced Milwaukee this year. He's given up 4 earned runs in 18 and a third innings. Cincinnati's won all 3 games so far, but that bullpen, they had a horrible weekend in St. Louis. I might lean to the first 5 under here. As Dave said, Anderson goes 5 probably, so he goes 2 turns through the lineup. The Reds are back to their underways. Sonny Gray pitches well early on. Maybe we take the bullpens out of it. So maybe a first 5 under here and kind of try and get an early slow start to this one.
We got San Fran hosting the Cubs tonight. Both these teams are just on fire right now. The Cubs lost 5-1 to San Diego, but they have won 7 of their last 9 games. And San Fran lost 2 games ago to the New York Mets, but they beat the Mets last game 3-2, and they've won 8 of their last 9. Before we get into this game, I will tell you one thing. The general manager of the Giants probably is cheering for the Cubs tonight. This guy is finding himself in a total mess. They got Baumgartner, a free agent next year. They've got to move him and turn him into some pieces. Yet this team is right in it. A couple of games out of the wild card. What a conundrum he is faced with. But with that said, nobody cares because it has no effect on the betting. Cubs are minus 111 to 116. The over and under is 8.5. There are a few 9s on the board. Dave, 2 of the hottest teams in baseball. What is going to happen in this game?
Here's the little red flag on the Giants, though. They've stopped hitting again. They did manage to pull out a couple of wins in this series against the Mets, but 2 runs in regulation, and then Saturday they scored 4, but they got blown out in the game. Friday, 1-0 win in a game that went extra innings. The night before that, 3 runs in an extra inning game. Then it's not a good lineup, okay? And I think you're going to start to see a regression as far as their offense is concerned. And that worries me against the Cubs because the Cubs lineup is just not getting held down by anybody right now. And Sean Anderson doesn't look to me to be a guy who's going to be able to contain them. Hard hit rate is in the mid-40s. He's had 4 straight subpar starts on the game scores. I'm not in love with Alec Mills, but the Cubs have better pieces at this point, and this line looks a little cheap to me, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'll play it. I don't think I'll play it because, I want to see the Giants lose a couple before I start to get on the fade San Francisco train, but I won't be on the Giants here. I know that.
Yeah, and the Cubs, the Giants are going to have to score tonight if they want to win. Anderson's a total mess. 4 innings pitched in his last game, led in about 600 runs. If the Cubs win, I think this game will go over. I don't even mind the double parlay. Mid-major, Matt, what do you think?
Well, I don't like Mills very much, but as Dave said, I don't like the Giants lineup very much. Outside of Brandon Crawford, who's got a really good OPS since the break, you look at the lineup and you're like, how are these guys doing anything? Yastrzemski, Pilar. Some of these guys, it's just you wonder. They're hot right now as a team, but I don't see them taking advantage of Mills. Then again, the Cubs bullpen's a mess, and they're on the road, so I think I'll probably sit this one out.
Cleveland on the road, facing the mighty Toronto Blue Jays. Cleveland's as hot as the Cubs in San Fran right now. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. Their only loss was a 1-0 loser to Kansas City. They just couldn't find their bats. And Toronto, look, they've won 2 of their last 3. Big whoop. It was against Detroit. This team's an absolute disaster. Clevenger versus Borucki. Dave, tell us about Ryan B.
He pitched last year with the Blue Jays and showed some promise. I don't think he's going to be a star, but he could be a back end of the rotation guy. Clevenger, of course, is the much higher profile pitcher, and with good reason. He hasn't been very good on the road, but that's an extremely small sample because he missed a lot of time with the injury situation. The Indians are too hot to go against. They're only 3 games out of first place now in the AL Central. They were plus 2,500 to win the division about a month ago. So, they're on fire right now. It's in the price. I don't want to lay that much on the road. I think it's actually a little inflated, but you're not going to catch me going against Cleveland.
I like the over in this game, Matt. I think Cleveland is going to get to the Toronto pitcher. They are putting up some runs. You take that duck, as they call it in cricket, out against Kansas City, and their last 7-8 games, 5-0, 10-6, 7, 8-8, and 4. Toronto's bats pretty silent throughout the season, but lately they've come alive. They only put up a 3 spot against Detroit, but before that a 7 and a 12. I think we're getting a low number here at 9. I like over the total. Where are you going?
Well, the key thing you said was Detroit and Kansas City, whose pitching is terrible, and both those teams are terrible in general. Cleveland is hitting the pitchers and the teams that they're supposed to hit. Before then, remember, the majority of this season, their offense has been horrific. Outside of Lindor and a couple of decent, Santana's hitting well. I don't know if they're going to get you enough runs. I love fading guys coming off the injury list. I don't think that they're ready for the excitement, the adrenaline of that, but I'm not going to take Clevenger and the Indians at this price. I think you could get maybe a decent price in the first 5 under here because I think Clevenger can hold down Toronto. That offense we saw in Detroit was because it was Detroit. By the way, the Blue Jays have a 24.2% K rate to right-handed pitchers, which is bottom 5 in the league. If you do DFS, I love Clevenger to first 5 under might be the way to go here.
You're watching First Pitch, guys, Monday to Friday. Tomorrow, Dave Cokin, myself, and Drew Martin. And then Wednesday, likely Tony Finn. Although Dr. Chuck is angling to get back on. We'll see what happens. And don't sleep on Marco D'Angelo's baseball. He's on a 15-3 run. It's $9 Monday, both at Sports Memo and at Wager Talk, $9 for every play. Tampa Bay hosting Boston, real important series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games, Tampa Bay. Boston, they just can't seem to put a big run together right now. What, Dave?
I don't think it's going to happen.
And says the man wearing the Boston Red Sox eye patch, so we're going to take your word for it. Boston, Rodriguez versus Beeks, -124 for the road team. 8.5 is the total. What do you like, Dave?
Well, look, I mean, it's pretty simple as to why the line's going up. It's Eduardo Rodriguez. He shows up, the Red Sox win. Since the start of last season, they're 34-9 when he starts. It's amazing. And that includes, what is it this year? 15-5 this year. So as bad as the Red Sox have been in terms of not living up to expectations, they still win when Rodriguez pitches. In fact, they're under 500 when he's not pitching. Beeks gets to go against his former team here. I don't know what Tampa's doing. Are they doing away with the opener? It might be, because this is usually a spot where Stanek would open and Beeks would follow, but they've got Beeks listed as the starter, so it might be that the opener has run its course in Tampa. I can't play the Red Sox right now. They just lost a series to the Orioles, for God's sakes. They're just not putting it together. And Tampa can be tough. The good news for the Red Sox is they'll have more fans in the stands than Tampa, so it's a semi-home game for them. And if I had to bet it, I'd probably go with Rodriguez just because he's on the mound, but that's not something I'm comfortable enough to play.
Mid-major Matt, talk to me.
He's 0-2 with a 7.11 ERA and 4 starts at Tropicana Field, but Tampa Bay scored just 35 runs over their last 10 games. They've got 6 unders over that span. I mean, outside of Meadows, who really scares you in that lineup? I mean, Tampa Bay is just not scoring right now. They're getting the pitching. That's there. But do you really trust them to slow down the Boston offense they scored 17 runs, on Saturday, and then just a couple in the other 2 games against the Orioles. Boston's too inconsistent. I kind of like Beeks a little bit, so I probably won't play this, but maybe look at the under if you believe that Beeks and that Tampa Bay bullpen can slow down the Red Sox.
New York Yankees on the road playing Minnesota. Could be the AL preview. Yankees have won 5 of their last 6 games. They lost 8-4 to Colorado in their last game, and Minnesota is on a little bit of a downfall. They've lost 5 of their last 7. Sabathia versus Prez. Great pitching tonight. We've got the total at 11.5. And the Yankees a short favorite at -118 to 125. Dave, we spoke about this, I think, last week. Everything leans to the under to me in this game. I think we're going to have good pitching all around. I just cannot take unders in a Yankees game.
Well, I think I might disagree with the good pitching because CC's been pretty bad on the road, actually. He actually has been pitching better overall lately. He's had 4 straight starts that I would grade as above average, but his road numbers overall are really bad. Fly ball percentage is up. Home run to fly ball rate is not good. Hard hit rate isn't good. And he's facing a lineup that can rake. Okay, I mean the Twins can beat the snot out of lefties. Martin Perez has been pretty good at home. So on the pitching, I favor the Twins. But this goes back to it. How many years ago was it when the Twins, they could never beat the Yankees when it mattered? They would find a way not to win. They'd be ahead and they'd lose. They'd be behind the whole game. They never catch it. Whatever. They just could not beat this team. And I always, these teams match up. It's like the Yankees are in certain teams' heads. I think Tampa's one of them. I think Minnesota's another one. And I'm not going to lay the price here. And the pitching numbers that I have would favor Perez and indicate the values that way. But I'm not going against the Yankees in this spot. Minnesota's going to have to prove to me they can beat this team.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees have won 7 of the last 10 against Minnesota. Matthew, talk to me.
Well, I'm not a Perez guy. I mean, I've made so much money fading him in past years. I don't believe in this whole he all of a sudden figured things out because he added a pitch. He more than 50% of the time he's getting ground balls. That's great, especially in a ballpark like Minnesota. But the Yankees are raking too against lefties, hitting around 264, putting up over 5 runs per game. I mean, I can't take the under in this game, but the numbers say that we should see plenty of runs. And if I could fade Prez and a team that's not playing as well as they used to right now, I guess I'll take a chance with Sabathia, even though I don't love him either. But the Twins aren't exactly a backable team right now.
No, and they got by, I think, maybe on smoke and mirrors with their bullpen. And that bullpen has started to crack lately. They did get a good comeback win yesterday in the 9th against Liam Hendricks and the A's, but the Minnesota pen is struggling right now, and that could be a late inning problem here.
Fun series between Houston and Oakland. Oakland is just absolutely on fire. They lost to Minnesota 7-6, but they did win 2 out of 4 in that series. They have won 8 of their last 10 games. Houston is on a 5-0 run, including a sweep against Texas. And the last 2 games they won against the Angels. We've got Houston at a huge favorite, minus 260 at some points. It's Cole versus Homer Bailey. Dave, where are you going in this one?
Look, Homer Bailey pitched well in his first start for Oakland. And, he's capable at times, but he's not exactly reliable. And Garrett Cole, these numbers are just absurd. He's pitching as well as anybody in baseball. He really is. I mean, he's been that good. And somehow he's under the radar to some extent with the talking heads. Not with the betting market, though. They know. And when Garrett Cole shows up in a Houston uniform, they win 34-15. That's really good. 14-7 this year. He's had 10 straight quality starts, the way I keep score. Bailey is prone to giving up hard hit balls. I can't make a case for Oakland in this game. I think the A's will steal one in this series, but I really don't think it's going to be tonight.
Matt, I mean, for me, this is a tough one, and I think really a pass because, Oakland is just playing really, really good baseball, and although I agree with Dave's analysis, I can't lay minus 260 against Oakland right now. They're just on fire. Where are you going?
Well, I think I agree that this is a pass. Here's your hollow stat of the day. Homer Bailey's 4-0 with a 1.46 ERA, but the last time he faced Houston was 2012. Just trying to put that out there for people who are like, oh, he's really good against Houston, but that was probably when Houston was still in the National League. Cole's seen Oakland once already, gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. Yeah, this is probably a no play. It's a huge number. I'd love to take a chance with Oakland, or at least Oakland's run line even, but I'm not going up against the Astros right now.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Texas against Seattle. Seattle 40-62 on the year. Texas 1 game above 500. 56% of the tickets have been written on Seattle right now. Texas just in an absolute free fall. They've lost 7 games in a row, and Seattle is not much better. They've won 1 of their last 9 games in the spot. Just horrific. You got Seattle at minus 110 and over and under of 10.5. Dave, Gonzalez versus Sampson. What should we do in this game?
Well, there's not a chance in the world I'd back Adrian Sampson, who he's in the argument as the worst starting pitcher in baseball. He stinks. I mean, these numbers are just terrible. He's had a few respectable outings at home, but on the road, he's been a train wreck. 49% hard hit rate. That means 49% of the batted balls in play against him have an exit velocity of 95 miles an hour or higher. And he's got an elevated fly ball rate. That's just not a guy you want to be on. Marco Gonzalez, he's a middle-of-the-road pitcher. He can be good the first 2 times through the order. After that, he's really bad. But the Mariners do look like the right side in this game. The market disagrees. This line opened 135, and it's come way down to 110. Not with my money. I don't want Adrian Sampson. Not interested in him. What happens in the late innings of this bullpen game is anybody's guess. Both bullpens are horrible. So, it comes down to Seattle a pass.
Matt, I'm passing. What are you doing in this one?
It's funny. I've actually looked over my list. I don't bet a lot of AL West games because I don't have a good thought on a lot of them, and B, I just have no interest in staying up and watching them. But Gonzalez is 1-2 with a 3.50 ERA and 3 starts versus Texas. His xFIP is 5.28. I think there's more of a correction coming for him. The problem is Seattle scored 3 runs or less in 7 of their last 8 games. So, I don't even know if they could take advantage of it. I don't even know who in that lineup could take advantage of it. Yeah, I'm staying away from this one.
Are you still? How much faith are you putting into xFIP? I have basically thrown it out. The reason for that is it's a metric that is heavily weighted on home runs, and everybody hits the ball out of the park now. So to me, xFIP has kind of lost its meaning. I'm looking for other numbers that I think, and maybe it's just me, but I always try to get ahead of the curve. To be honest with you,
I don't use it as a deciding factor. I just throw, I throw it into the whole, hey, this is what I use to consider when I'm handicapping these games. But it's just another factor I look at.
2 more games, Miami and the White Sox, 2 of the best teams in baseball if it was opposite day. Miami, my God. This team has lost 7 of their last 10 games, and the White Sox, well, they're worse. They've lost 8 of their last 10 games, but they did beat Tampa Bay 2-1 in the series in Tampa Bay. We've got Chicago White Sox. They came out at -138. Dave, a lot of people are obviously betting Miami. It's down to -112 at Heritage. Over and under in this game is 10. Where should we go?
The pitching numbers do favor Trevor Richards. He's actually got some respectable numbers, but he's not in good form, and he never wins. Marlins are 4-15 in his starts. I believe it's 7-22 since he came up to the majors last year. So not exactly a go-with guy. And the problem for Richards is everything is key off his changeup. If his changeup isn't working, he can really get lit up. He's got a high fly ball rate, which plays well for him in Miami because fly balls just die in that ballpark, but they don't die in other ballparks. So I think he's fool's gold, to be honest with you. The flip side of it is Nova stinks. He's terrible. I mean, his average game score at home this year is 39, with 50 being average. So 39 is one of the worst game score averages you'll find, and he's not in good form. I guess you can make a case for the Marlins if you want to take a small dog, but nah, not with my money.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It's just 2 really bad pitchers on 2 really bad teams. I mean, Richards, what a disaster his last 3 games, a whip of 2, an ERA of 6. This guy's getting lit up. You have an over and under here of 9.5, 10. The pitchers stink, but Miami can't exactly light it up. 0 in their last game, 6-1, 4-2, 12-2-2. Extremely inconsistent batting. And similar with the Chicago White Sox, another complete pass for me. Matthew?
Miami's had 4 road games this year of a total of 10 or 10.5, and they've gone under in all of them because, their bullpen's decent, although Guerrero didn't pitch well his last time out. I think he's got a live arm. Nova pitched well against Miami twice last year. Seeing them, I know it's a different circumstance and different lineups, but you can argue Miami's lineup is much worse this year than it was last year. At 10, I might take the under and just hope that these 2 pitchers give me just enough. And then, their bullpens aren't great, but neither are the offenses involved.
He's mid-major Matt from sportsmemo.com. I'm the Prez. We got Dave Cokin with us, both of us at wagertalk.com. This is our final game. Arizona hosting Baltimore, and Arizona's still in the hunt for a wild card spot, only a couple of games back. As for Baltimore, they're in the hunt to be relegated. I wish there was relegation in baseball. That, to me, is how you fix the sport. But anyway, Dave Cokin won't think the sport needs to be fixed.
Okay. If you relegate them, who takes their place? A AAA team?
No. You would have to divide the league up at the beginning with 2, the majors and then sort of Division 1. and then you start the relegation process. And what it does, like it does in the EPL, is keeps everybody extremely interested in teams. I mean, look, the Toronto fan base, Kansas City, Baltimore, Chicago, White Sox, Miami, their fan base would have something major to play for right now because nobody wants relegation, especially if done like the EPL, where their top guys with their long-term contracts have clauses to say, trade me if relegated. Anyway,
it's NFL training camp season.
In EPL, if somebody gets relegated, they move another team up.
Yes, but you would do
they still
that.
Have the same number of teams. Well, you can't. You've got 30 major league teams. If you relegate 4 of them, then what do you do with those 4 spots? Play 26. You have 26 teams. You're not going to do that.
I think you should put like the Lakers in one of them.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Dave, where are you going in this game?
Nowhere. I'm not laying 250 with Arizona. They're a bad home team, and they're not in good form. I don't want the Orioles. Aaron Brooks, by the way, has had 2 decent starts since he came over, but that won't last. But sometimes changes in scenery work for a guy, and he seems to have a little jump in his step right now. But no, I have no interest in the Orioles, and if you want to lay 250 with the Diamondbacks, good luck.
I like the over in this game, guys. I think we're seeing Baltimore hitting the ball 5, 6, 11, and 9 in their last 4 games. I think Arizona will get to Brooks. 9 seems like a short number to me. I like the over. Matthew, take us home.
Can you tell me the availability of Joe Horn for this game? Because if Joe Horn's playing, then maybe we get to that over because, Brooks to Horn was a pretty good combination. Brooks is only going 3-4 innings, so that means a very bad bullpen has to cover a lot of innings. The question for your over is, can the Orioles contribute at all? I mean, I know Arizona could score 8 or 9 runs, but you may need a run or 2 from Baltimore tonight, and that lineup loses a hitter being in a National League park, and you've got the pitcher now in that 9-hole spot. So I could see you taking the over, but the question is, can I get 1 or 2 runs from Baltimore?
I think they haven't seen Robbie Ray, who can be really deceptive for guys who haven't seen him before. And if Ray's throwing strikes, they're not going to hit him.
He's Dave Cokin. I'm the Prez. Mid-Major Matt with us. Today's show in the bag. Make sure to check tomorrow. Dave, myself, and Drew Martin. Matthew.
I have a $9 play up at Wagertalk now. It's a first 5-inning play, and I think it's a real good play. And I swept yesterday, so go get it.
Yeah, guys, go get it. That's the end of the show. See you all tomorrow. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. I'm the Prez, and I am out.